Hello. Let's get our thinking caps on today. We're going to have a little fun with our writing today. In fact, we're not going to write. We're just going to plan out what we will write tomorrow. And we have lots of notes that we've taken on our extreme weather. Your notes could be placed on your computer through this. You might have boxes and bullets, or you might have created that web. But either way, we still have those 5 areas that we focused on: how it's formed, whether that's linked to it, how it's measured, an interesting fact, and also how to stay safe. So we're going to use those 5 sections to tell a story. We're going to have fun with this, and we're going to tell a story pretending that the extreme weather is happening. So I'm going to imagine that a flood is happening here. So I'm going to use the first 2 parts of our notes, how it's formed, and other weather that's linked to it, to introduce or to start telling that a flood is happening. So sit back, watch the show. And then I want you to also try it too. Looking at those 2 parts of your notes, other weather that's linked to it, because many times if it's rain a lot, a flood could happen. Or if dark cumulonimbus clouds start appearing in the sky, that's a sign that an extreme weather might be happening. Or how it's formed is going to tell me that it's starting. This is the beginning steps of my extreme weather. So looking at those 2 parts, I'm going to start to have some fun with this. Oh my gosh, it keeps raining. The rain hasn't stopped. It's been raining for days. In fact, today it's such heavy rainfall that the water has nowhere to go. The river outside of my house, it's starting to rise, and the water has nowhere to go from its normal area. See how I did that? I used all the parts of my notes or parts of it to start to introduce that my extreme weather is starting to form. We have rain. We have heavy rainfall. We have rising waters and water that has nowhere to go. Introduction. Then I'm going to look at the next part of my notes. How the weather is measured, an interesting fact, and how to stay safe. I'm going to look at these 3 and see how else can I tell a story of my extreme weather happening. So when I think about how the weather is measured, is it something that I am doing, my neighbor is doing, the meteorologist, a news reporter, a scientist? So think about that and think about when this is happening. If you think about a tornado or a hurricane, many times those are measured after the fact. So you might want to save that for the end of your story. Like, hey, the tornado came through and we found out it was an F5. That's why there's so much damage. But for me, with the flood, they use the rain gauge. So they're measuring how much rain has fallen. So I might talk about that after it's formed. It's all thinking about everything that you've learned about your extreme weather. Tell it like a story, and it's happening to us. So again, sit back, watch how I do this, thinking about how it's measured, an interesting fact, and how to stay safe. I'm going to use my notes right here. All right. We just heard from a meteorologist who was measuring the rainfall that 10 inches of rain has fallen in the past few days. He used his rain gauge, and that's a lot of water. In fact, we need to send out a warning. We need to send out a warning that people need to get to higher grounds. And I think I'm going to get sandbags and start to build a dike around my house because the river water is starting to get closer and closer and closer. And you know what? I learned once that flash floods can happen in deserts. They can even happen in deserts where it's dry. And those flash floods, the water comes so quickly and can wipe out houses and plants and streets in less than 6 hours. That's scary. I'd better send this warning out to everybody. See how that was done? I'm having fun with it. I'm telling it like a story. And I want you to have fun with this. Tell your extreme weather like a story. Pretend it's happening from beginning, maybe even to end, and you can talk about the damage. A lot of your interesting facts that you put were damages that were caused by your extreme weather. All of the damage that happened. So have fun with this. Practice telling it. Remember, this practice that we verbally do is going to help us to be better writers tomorrow. So practice it over and over. Look at your notes. Think of the best way you want to talk about each of these parts. Have some fun, you superheroes. You got this.